In the previous video, we looked at array as an abstract data type. And now let's start with stack as an abstract data type. So now we are going to have stack as an ADT. Okay? And just like arrays, remember we had specified what data it should have, what operations it should perform. And remember, out of these, only operations are visible to the external client. So only this is the visible part to an external client. So any other program that uses our ADT, they know about only this thing. So they are not aware of this internal data. So you can have a newer implementation with different way of arranging the data, different way of storing the data. But as long as you keep your interface, your operations same, you can go and change the implementation of operations as well as the implementation of your data. We looked at one particular way of implementing arrays as contiguous memory, and now let's look at stack. Okay, so what stack is supposed to do? When we store values in a stack, we are supposed to retrieve those values in last in first out order. So what does it mean? Typically we can visualize stack like a stack of books. Okay, so let's say I have this stack and I go on putting books here. Okay, so there is one book, there is other book, so let's call it book 1, book 2 and book 3. Okay, so when I put these books, I put them one over the other. Okay, and if I have to retrieve the book from the stack, well, I will always pick up the top book. Okay, so that's the way a stack is supposed to work. So we are going to have the same concept encoded in our data structure. Okay, so if I take out 3 and after that I take out 2 and then I add 4, then 4 becomes the last in first out. Okay, so let's define what is it that the stack should store. Okay, so if I define the stack as an entity, what data it should have? Well, it should be able to store the values, and it should be able to store their entry time. Sometimes we might store this explicitly, sometimes we might store this implicitly. Okay, that's what it should have. Okay, and then what operations that we should have? Well, I should be able to create new stack, and I should be able to specify what should be its capacity. Okay, and when you create the stack, it is going to be empty. Sometimes you might want to create a stack and initialize it with a set of values, so that could be another way to create stack. And then you should be able to push a value onto your stack, and then you should be able to pop a value from your stack, and then you are going to ask question, is my stack empty? And sometimes you're going to ask, is my stack full? Okay, so those are the typical operations that you would do on a stack. Okay, so when I say that I want to create a new stack, what I want is create this structure of stack with certain number of cells. So now this has 4 cells, I might have say 5 cells. This is my stack that I create. Okay, so now I'm going to create a stack with the capacity for 5 elements. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so these are the 5 cells that I have. That's my create stack. Initially they are going to have some random values. Okay, so I also need to keep track of the how many values are there. Okay, so I'll say that another data that I required is the value count. Okay, how many values I have. Okay, so whenever I create the stack, what I need to do is get the corresponding memory block and then initialize this value count to 0. Okay, so that's what my create new stack should look like. And if you think about its time complexity, in worst case, how much time it will require? Well, getting a memory block should require constant amount of time. and then initializing the value of this variable value count to 0 should take constant amount of time. So this particular operation would require constant amount of time. And now let's think about the push operation. Okay, so now we have to ask this question, how I'm going to store these values and these entries. Okay, so for this particular implementation, I'm going to have an array. Okay, so I'm going to have an array of values. Okay, so I'm going to call it array dot array val. Okay, so that's how I'm going to store my data. So this array is going to store values directly, but the entry time will be stored implicitly in terms of the index value. So the value with the lowest index is going to have the earliest entry time, and value with the highest index is going to have the latest entry time. So what will happen with push? So with push, what is supposed to happen is that I give you a value, you have to store it in the stack with the latest entry time, whatever is your notion of encoding the entry time. So currently my stack is empty, and let's say I do the push operation with value 10. Okay, so if I do push 10, what will happen is out of all the elements, there are no elements, so this value is having the earliest entry time, so it is going to go in slot 0, and then I have to change my value count. Okay, so with push 10, what is going to happen is I'm going to have this particular state of the array, and my value count will become 1. Okay, how many values I'm storing. And then what is going to happen next? I can push more values. I can say push 20. Okay, with that, what will happen is I will add 20 to the next slot, because slot 0 corresponds to the oldest entry time. So slot 1 would store a newer entry time, or a value corresponding to a newer entry time, and then my value count would change to 2. That's the change that will happen. So again, if you think about the time complexity of the push operation, locating a particular slot of the array takes constant amount of time, because we are assuming this particular implementation of the arrays. Okay, so I can go and access a particular element or store at a particular element in constant amount of time. Because I can do that, my push works in constant amount of time, because I have to increase the value count and then I have to store an element. Okay, so the way push operation works is you go and store it at a particular location in your array. And then next comes the pop operation. So with pop, what is supposed to happen is, out of all the elements that are stored in your stack, the element with the latest entry time should be removed from the stack, and it should be returned back to the client program that called the pop operation. So now if I call pop operation on my stack, and let's call this stack as A. Okay, so A dot push, A dot push, A dot pop, and before that I had A dot create new, right? And capacity was 5. So once I do the pop, what is going to happen is this value 20 will be removed and my value count will become 1, because now there is only one element in my stack. Okay, so how much time is required for, what is the time complexity of pop operation? With pop, what you do is you reduce the value count by 1, and then you go to the corresponding slot in your array, index in your array, and you return that value. And because you can go and access a particular element in a constant amount of time in this implementation of the array, my pop operation can be performed in constant amount of time. Remember, if you have different implementation of array that has different complexity for accessing element, it will affect the pop operation. Now let's ask the question about is empty. So now I ask question, is my stack A empty? So this is going to return the true or false value, and the stack is empty if value count is 0, otherwise stack is not empty. Okay, so in this case the value that I'm going to return, so here was the pop, so the value I was returning was 20. Here I would return the value of false because stack is not empty. Okay, and then let's ask question, is it full? But before that, is empty checking operation takes again only constant amount of time. And for full operation, we are going to ask question if all the slots in my stack, they are occupied, and that I can know by looking only at the value of the value count. If my value count is equal to 5, is equal to the capacity of the array, then my capacity of my stack, then my stack is full. Okay, so current our value is 1, so it is not full, so I'm going to return a false. Okay, but on this stack A, if I perform one more a dot pop operation, what will happen is that even the value 10 will be removed and my value count will become 0, right? This will become 0, and now if I call the operation is empty, this will return a true value. Okay, similarly if I go on pushing after this 5 values, okay, so if I go on pushing say 40, 61, 59, 11, 14, okay, and after this if I ask question, is my stack full, the value count will be 5 by this time, and it will result in stack being full. Okay, so again is empty, is full operations, they are going to require only constant amount of time, because all we need to do is check a particular variable's value. Okay, so create new operation is constant amount of time, push constant, pop constant amount of time, is empty, is full. So all the operations on stack, they work in theta 1 complexity, time complexity. Okay, so that's the array as an ADT. So again, you can go for different implementation of stack. This interface will remain same, but you can have a different underlying implementation. For example, you might want to implement these values and entry times using a linked list or any other data structure. Okay, so the nice thing about ADT is that you can implement one ADT using another ADT. Okay, so we will do that sometime later. Okay, so in the next class we'll talk about queue as an ADT.